Pyosik playing the Lee Sin in the jungle. And now Fredit Brion get to show us exactly what they have in mind here, because everything's pretty face up on the side of DRX.
Could even be an on angle. It's just because I know Hoya loves the champion, and with Ashe you can actually play front-to-back teamfights very well. Leona and On would be very on theme, but it might be that they'd rather put Hoya on the set. Another champion doesn't really require a lot of attention and want to pick something more proactive here for Lava. I'm still a big fan of the Galio. I think it lanes nicely into the LeBlanc, and playing Kalista specifically into Galio, it just feels really bad.
That is a roughie.
Yeah.
But looks like it's going to be Gwen in that side lane up against the Gnar. That will confirm that Lava is playing the set in that mid lane. DRX, what's the response for Jun here towards the bottom side of the map?
It's more in line with what is powerful at the moment. And if Fredit Brion can snowball the early game, get early presence, and then get onto your head, it will snowball expertly. Between the Leona and the Ashe, you have an immense amount of hard engage. Your follow-up is incredible from Fredit Brion. But this is a similar situation to what we saw in the first game, I think, where if you do fall behind against Gnar, Lee, and LeBlanc, like Lee and LeBlanc in particular are incredibly strong, go way back as a 2v2 duo.
Oh yeah.
So that's kind of a scary one. And if you look at the bot lane as well, I think the Ashe matchup is really nice. I also like the Leona, but if Pyosik pays a couple of visits, or if Jet gets a roam and the Kalista gets ahead, that matchup is also not fun. You will get blown up a lot. So early game gonna tell us a lot here, Atlas.
Yeah, I agree. And I think that Fredit Brion might just have a slow start, and that could be punished by the volatility that DRX have picked for themselves. I think that there is definitely a chance that if DRX play to the same level of aggression that we saw in game number 2, that they could be walking away with another victory over Fredit Brion. But that is getting a little bit ahead of ourselves. I think the bottom lane is going to be better this time around with the Ashe instead of the Varus. And we know that Set Diana together are very, very scary. So just have to see how this one's going to go.
The more I look at it, the more I'm thinking, I like this draft. I think as DRX after game number 1 realize we can't scale, we just gotta beat them early. This comp will definitely allow you to do that. And if you get early laning advantages, you can mitigate the team fighting power that the Fredit Brion comp has. And that should put you in a prime position. On the flip side, as Fredit Brion, you can give up a little bit of early game pressure as long as doesn't fall as far behind as he did previously. Yep.
He's going to land the Q onto Pyosik there.
He knows.
Nice work. Hannah's Ashe skin looking majestic, as we can see. Moving up now towards the river.
Well, I think that might be the Fade Dragon. It's really nice. When you slow people, you see like little parts of grass.
Oh, that is adorable.
Yeah, it's really cool skin. I played it recently.
I might have to stop using the project skin every single time.
I think when it comes to like smoothness of stutter stepping, that's one is still the one to go. But this one has like a very nice ethereal feel to it. If you like a more, I want to say, you know, majestic gameplay experience. I don't know if you're inclined.
I feel like I just walked into the Riot store. I didn't know they had a shop front in game, but I feel like we are there now. I like it a lot.
Not my intention.
No, thank you very much. No, I really appreciate it. Sometimes I prefer someone to talk me through my potential choices, and you're exactly right. The Frost Shot looking real nice. So, you know, it's right there in the store for you guys if you do want to partake yourselves. As Lava just going to be walking past these minions. The set matchup into the LeBlanc, not the most awful, as now you can see Hoya starting off the aggression onto King in quite early.
Very good. That's what we like to see. Hoya. Oh, that auto was a painful one for King, and that's the one that really hurts. Very nicely done. As Gwen, you should have early prio in this matchup. Once the Gnar goes back and finds himself a little bit more items, you're going to feel a little bit more comfortable. But King also gone for the Halo Blades, so really showing how much he respects the trading potential of the Gwen. He's just looking to go in, get a couple of autos off, and immediately space out of her attack range. And Hannah going for Ghost Teleport is something that I love. It's a development that we've seen recently where in the jungle...
Yeah, mostly jungle.
You go for the Ghost. But Gwen's sticking power and escapability with the E is so high that you can actually get away with taking Ghost as Lava.
Yeah, that is a great chain that's going to connect as Pioshik's going to get his face broken. Takes a fair bit of damage from the turret, but that's okay. First blood goes over to the Lee Sin, and this is what we wanted out of DRX. Early aggression continuing, and it has.
Pure greed there by Lava. Going for the last hit.
We knew that Haymaker was coming, right?
If you have your Haymaker, you're fine there. You flash, but you live. You might even get the kill if Pioshik still dives this deep, which, Pioshik very well could, but doesn't happen. Fortunately for Fredit Brion, there is a teleport available. Immediate teleport comes back, and Umti will still be able to find a double scuttle if they are inclined to do so.
Yeah, so they trade that kill for a double scuttle, so that definitely helps the Diana, who's now looking to move forward. Flash still available for Jet, so he is going to be able to wander his way out. I like to think of that skin as the Maleficent, that's the one.
Yeah.
Maleficent LeBlanc. Difficult word to say, as it turns out. Haven't tried to say that too many times. As Umpty will come over here and collect himself that Rift Scuttler, and Fredit Brion know that there is nothing that they can do about that situation with the Hawk Shot. As Jun's going to be able to land the dredge line, as Delight just presses W, as Leona generally does, and says absolutely not to any sort of follow-up.
Any sort of anything, really.
Yeah.
Lane's pushing, you know that Pioshik is in the general vicinity, so she should never die here. Also, the summon is available, but even your summon shouldn't get forced. This is interesting, though. Greedy from Pioshik. They might collapse onto him here.
They could certainly do so. They'll lose some minions on the bottom side, but Umpty's going to move on over as he does collect himself the majority of his Krugs. Pioshik not exactly going to get all of the advantages that he was looking for, and this is Umpty allowed to play League of Legends in the early game. So despite the fact that DRX managed to get first blood, it's still looking much better than Game 2 for Fredit Brion.
And a little bit low on mana, and I think that's a little reason why we didn't see more follow-up on the play we saw earlier, where they went pretty hard on the light. Because when they throw that much damage into your Leona, sometimes you can be like, oh, maybe we can look for something here, but without a mana bar, especially as Ash, who early on is quite mana hungry, that's not the greatest, and Umpty is. He's happy, he's in his jungle, he's full clearing, doesn't really need to do anything else.
Yep, just powering through. Pioshik going to be able to grab his top side, so it's a couple more camps. So should be able to get to within a couple of camps of Umpty, but it's still a good advantage for the Diana. We will now have some space on the map, and there is a dragon available. Maybe that's just where Umpty decides to go.
It's almost like you've casted this team before, Atlas.
Yeah, maybe once or twice. As our level 6 for LeBlanc. Doesn't mean a whole lot, but does mean that Lava is going to be under a little bit more pressure, and as we can see, the LeBlanc is still doing great things here in the mid lane. That was sort of the prize pick that DRX were able to get for themselves, so a fair bit on the shoulders of Jet for this game as we have a look once again at this first blood.
I don't know what to tell you. The moment that Haymaker goes through, as Pioshik, you're waiting for it. It's like, is he going to greed for the caster? Is he going to do it?
It's also guaranteed chains. Like, that is the most comfy play for DRX. Really beautifully done.
It's a mini history lesson, you know, in League of Legends. I think Umpty just walks by that one. Because how many times have we seen that combo, like, over the years?
Yeah.
Oh, this is cheesy. I love it.
Yeah, they are going to get in there. That's a lot of damage onto Jun, who immediately flashes, but it's not going to be enough. Taeun gets under the relative safety of his turret. It's a big play from Fredit Brion, and they even up the kill count.
Will lose, the scuttle for it. That's a trade you'll take anytime. Only unfortunate thing is the kill went to Delight. And that Taeun is actually fine, can pick up the wave, so it's a nice small advantage. Doesn't gain you that much as Fredit Brion, but it does maintain the high tempo, as it's just so easy, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yep, they face Jack.
It's about as max range on the Zenith Blade as well. Really good stuff there from Delight, as we've got some fighting here on the top side, and King is just going to say goodbye to Hoyer as best he can with the Gnar.
That's a Halo Blades Gnaw trade right there. It's like, okay, I did my thing. Go away now. Please.
Yeah.
I don't want to deal with you anymore. You stupid champion.
Yep, swipes
Snipping
it off
me.
the board. Yep.
Not a fan. Not again.
Well, another owl flies. Is that a bat in that skin? It's very confusing to me. As moves back down towards the bottom side. Is that hawk shot absolutely fantastic? Lands right on top of Pyoshik, so they get all of that info. As the light moves forward, Taeyeon immediately cleanses to try and get himself out of the way as they are focused on the Kalista, but now able to get some free hits in as the Rend, I believe, is still there. Fate's Call comes on down as Taeyeon's going to have to flash and get out of the way of the Zenith play, but it's a great dredge line, and Henna will be destroyed. Taeyeon looking for more as Hoya trying to dash away, not going to be able to as Jet collects that kill as well. And DRX are finding everything all over the map.
Everything going well for the DRX there. A crucial level 6 hit in the middle of that skirmish means that Taeyeon gets the Fate's Call available. And then on the top side, Hoya gets caught, even uses his Ghost. And no one else really able to join him. I don't know if they can go for this. Looks like they might want to try and contest, but Maganar's available.
Yeah, Lava moves in, avoids the set of stairs made of concrete. At least I think that's what they are. It's just a bit of stuff, I'm not sure. It looks like concrete anyway.
I'd assume so, yeah.
Yeah, that's what I
Part
always thought.
of a building, right?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how thematically accurate that is, but we're going to have a look at this one more time.
And initially it starts off nicely. June does a great job of staying alive and staying in front. And then at level 6, that's when you know it's just immediately over. Really nice flash as well. Then the hook. Just a textbook play. If you don't hit the level up, probably both players just walk away and everyone stays alive. Hoya, just not ready. I'd say as apparently he opts into... Oh, that's...
Yeah, gets booted away. And then the sandwich comes in, and that's a kill going over to the LeBlanc, which is real bad news. 1-0-1 now from that mid laner. Still a slight CS advantage for Lava, which is kind of impressive.
Yeah.
But the LeBlanc moving towards a mid-game, feeling real good, is not going to make our Fredit Brion fans very happy. Okay, this could be an opportunity as in goes the arrow. Solar Flare connects onto Taeyeon, who's just not allowed to play League of Legends for a very large amount of time. Moonfall comes in. Cool guys don't look at explosions. And Jun is going to follow suit. Pyoshik was thinking about instead just trying to get the Constellation blue buff, but that's not going to happen either. And now the coveted Dragon should go over to Fredit Brion.
Fredit Brion staple as godlike engaged there by the light.
Really beautiful.
Lava?
Yeah, he's could be dead, but this is what happens when you have the Haymaker, so that's good news, as he's just walking around. Some really weird stuff happens, and then Pyoshik does manage to get the kill.
You know they're there. Lava. Not the greatest series of our LoL King tonight.
No. I mean, that was a few things that went wrong on both sides.
Yeah.
However, for DRX, it worked out in the end.
It was not the cleanest play by DRX, but you got him in the end, so we're not going to give him too much criticism for that. As Lava, though, you know that this is happening. Delight.
Just beautiful.
So good.
One could say stunning.
One should. Not every Leona is stunning, but the Light's Leona, definitely the case.
Yeah.
Some Leonas, you know, just go in, miss everything, and then do nothing.
Yeah, that's missing.
Lava, who knew?
He's like, but I've got Haymaker this time. Jet's like, oh wait, hang on a second. He's not there anymore, and then things get a bit awkward, but then it's okay.
He has got to wait for cooldowns. It's okay. You know you'll get him.
퇴근이냐? 리신 노플 조심히 들어가라. 나 버스만 해볼게 이러면 정환아.
I think he said things were okay. I'm not entirely sure.
Safe home.
Yeah, just what? Get home safe. Oh dear.
Oh, auntie.
Well, sometimes you got to take a trip via the death chamber in order to get home, and it's exactly what Lava did. He's down 700 gold there in the mid lane. Top side of the map, certainly looking good for DRX money-wise. But things not going as horribly as they were last time around when it comes to the bottom side of the map. So that's where the good news is. And also being able to take the dragon, which is what they love.
Doesn't even matter if it's good for the game state, it's just what Fredit Brion needs.
Oh yes.
It's what they want. As this is going to be the place picked up. Lava does have some assistance. What goes down is just going to be the plates here, as diving into this would be very overeager.
Yep, not what they want to do, but getting some money onto Jet and also onto Pioshik, certainly going to be good news. 3 minutes until we have that Drake fight. There's Ash chilling on the bottom side, arrow in hand, so if Fredit Brion do want to fish for a potential engage, they can do so with the enchanted crystal arrow.
And we see the lead, Jet already having his Ludens finished, Lava not even that close.
No.
Though, even though he is a kill down, does have an extra assist, and there's a Darksteel with 4 stacks. Ooh, we'll get spotted there.
That's a max range hook. It's going to connect onto the Ashes immediately. Pioshik just says goodbye, but they do have the follow-up. Pioshik's going to be traded as there's the face call. Delight has a lot of sticks in him, but I think they're going to be okay as the face breaker is real good. Delight goes golden as well, but it's the Rend that's held on to. That's the 2-man Naras. In goes King and it finds the God engage. Pioshik continuing to be aggressive as well as Umpty fishes, looks for even more. Taeyeon's going to be able to kite this one out though, and DRX will in the end win out on the fight.
Bloodbath in the bot lane here for both of these teams.
Was that a 2 for 2? So maybe
in.
no one wins. Interesting.
I think it was a 3 for 2 in the end, because I'm pretty sure that like Henna
yes, Henna had already respawned. Got it. We're okay.
So it's slightly favorable here, and I think if Henna is able to flash this, because he has the flash available, this fight might look completely different. But because he gets 100 to 0, there is always the potential for this second teleport that is about to come through here. And then you're going to be working from a deficit, Delight, stopwatch, keeps him alive for a little bit, but never actually going to get you anything. I think if Lava went for an aggressive slam here on the 9, might have been able to get more. Umpty gives his life to both get his teammates away and gets himself a little bit more fed, which I think is fine. As a whole, it's a favorable play to DRX, but it's not blowout-esque like we saw in the previous game.
Certainly not the end of the world for Fredit Brion fans, as 50 seconds, and we've got that Ocean Drake on the Rift. It was a relatively late first Drake, so not going to be quite the acceleration that we saw from Fredit Brion in game number 1, but it's also a very different game state from that one. Is Shirley going to get taken here by DRX, who are finally able to trade for some of these neutral objectives. Definitely good news. Hoyer in a side lane, still looking to put his Rift Maker together, but just scaling up towards a peak sniffer. I like it.
Late backs here. I would have actually preferred if Fredit Brion was a bit more proactive in setting up for this Dragon, because I know they're going to go for it. It's Fredit Brion. Yeah. But I think you can do it in a nicer manner. Hoya also...
Jet is big right now with his Ludens.
Yeah, he needs the back, and he doesn't have teleport, so that might just be Drake. Bit of a set of questionable decisions here from Fredit Brion. Hoya using all his mana, going very aggressive to not get a turret, and then very late backs from Henna and the Light, no teleport available. So I think we might be looking at, I'd say, as no, DRX are just going to give it up.
Yeah, they're just going to get some return priority here as Kingan's on the top side of the map. He's going to be able to grab a turret. And so therefore, that man advantage that you were talking about, not actually going to eventuate.
But Hoya isn't there, and you have a super fed Kalista that just hit her item spike, and your LeBlanc is fed, and Lee is really strong, so... I don't think you have to give us up at all.
No, but they do.
They do.
So...
they knew. It's just... Cloud Drake.
What do you mean? Cloud Drakes are the best! Love me a Cloud Soul. And, you know, getting extra movement speed on your Ashe after she throws the arrow.
Yona as well.
Yeah, exactly.
Cooldown reduction. No,
throw out the Solar Flare and then sprint at them with your Zenith Blade at the ready.
It's easier for Umpty to actually hit people because he can move, you know, after
yeah.
the first...
Lava gets into the backline and then runs at the Callista.
Yeah.
Is it showstopper, you know?
Yeah. Hoya throws needles and then runs faster at them to throw needles.
Hey, there we go.
Yeah. It's actually, like, we joke, it's not that bad. I think
especially on Ashe, right? Because you can basically throw out your arrow like it's a regular ability.
I remember the very short time where Triforce Meteor, or Comet rather, Ashe was really popular. And you had like a 30-second, it was like either support or like AD really. And you had like a 30-second cooldown on your ultimate. It's like what Ezreal reaches late game where you're like, this is not fair.
Yeah. like the classic AP Ashe.
Yeah, this won't be the case here, unfortunately.
No, of course not.
Because, I mean, not the AP part. I feel like that goes without saying, but I'm not going to go for the crit build. Could go for the Wits End build again. I think into specifically LeBlanc, I wouldn't mind it. The survivability is nice. Does overload you a little bit of magic damage as charge comes through.
Yeah, he goes the moonfall towards the backline. It's a lot of damage as Fredit Brion just pile into the backline. Yoshik now trying to get something done, but there's needlework going all the way across. DRX and Jet going to get slowed down by the volley. Fredit Brion just grabbed 2 swift kills and will now push down the mid lane.
And this is one of the key things that makes Fredit Brion a team that can just randomly 2-0 days. It's that they are not afraid to just go for flash engages with everyone at the same time. As DRX, you don't really need to be in that position. You've used your charge, right? Turret is almost dead. Just leave it be. You don't have vision in any of the pits. But Fredit Brion's engages are just something else. You don't have to be this close up.
Yeah, this flash in from Omni, man. Didn't spend a lot of time thinking about that play.
I don't think he needs to, because they just blowed him up.
Yeah.
And that's the end of it. And that gives a lot of gold over to DRX, which these kind of kill trades, yes, Fredit Brion is still behind, but the composition skill's fine, right? And while DRX's comp, I think, is going to do decently until the mid to late game. Like, once we get to the actual late game, the power of the Ashe, the Diana, and the Gwen is just going to be disgusting.
Yeah, Yoshik now forced out, but there is still vision. Upbeat is going to dash on in. There's another moonfall as he's still looking for more. John taking a fair bit of damage as Lava's booking it towards DRX, but the Fate's call now as Taeyeon's trying to take some control. Gets taken down to about half pretty quickly as John flashes away Hoya with some needlework over the top of DRX right here, and the arrow is absorbed. That's a great Captain Jack out of Taeyeon. But Fredit Brion not going to be punished as Yoshik comes back around once again to stand on this ward and challenge for the red buff. He's going to do so successfully. All right, in the end, DRX get what they came for.
It's not the LCK if we don't fight 5v5 over red. Wait, what? No, that's not true. But I'm happy to see it here, because both the teams clearly identify that there is a point of critical mass that once it is reached, neither team knows how to get back from. Neither of these teams are very good at playing from behind. So the answer to that is fairly straightforward. Don't fall behind. And that's why continuously these plays come through. Thanks to that Fate's call, Lava doesn't really find an angle. And it's a teleport invested to not get that much out of it. I do think that the Gnar will also teleport here, as we do see the question mark pings going down there. So it is an even trade. Really nice flash that's about to come through here as well to dodge this Haymaker from June. And then, yeah, you pointed it out, this cleanse from Taeyeon.
It looked like he didn't even use it.
He shouldn't be there in the first place, which was also the problem with the last game. And I feel like this is my problem with Taeyeon, is mechanically, he's looking really good. But, you know...
I mean, remember, this guy debuted under the enemy turret with Varus.
That's the point. And I'd much rather see someone that has this issue than the opposite issue of just standing there and doing nothing, especially on Kalista. So that's, you know, actually exciting to me, because those are the type of players where once they hone their mechanics into using them when appropriate, like, they become menaces. And this is still a very close game, but this third Drake might blow the game wide open for Fredit Brion. Oh, DRX.
DRX don't look very concerned over the Cloud Drake. And Fredit Brion are going to take it because they love dragons. Or they hate them. I'm not entirely sure. I guess they hate them. They've killed a lot of them. And that is going to be sole point.
Maybe they're really into dragon decorating.
Ooh, yeah. It's for their new Valheim base that they're building. It's been a long time since I thought about that game.
Exactly.
I wonder when it's going to get updated. It's probably going to take a while.
I'm afraid so, but you know it's going to be good.
I know. I'm really excited. I love that game. Yeah. Okay. Enough talk about that. As Lava just collecting some waves underneath this turret. He's capable of doing so, as DRX still have a slighted gold advantage. In fact, a little bit more than slight. 3,500 as Hoya is going to move very quickly away, and then talks about how quickly he moves away. Quite a lot, as chat obviously are talking about.
Very fast.
Referring to the Bali, of course.
Naturally. And I think that DRX are taking a little bit less risk than I would like them to take, which is understandable considering the fact that this is such a pivotal match for them, right? You basically need to win this one, not even for the playoffs. I think that's a point that we're far past, but it's more about being able to still feel like you've progressed throughout this split, right? Because the fact of the matter is, they've been looking way better every week. But the problem is that they started so far behind everyone else that getting way better might not be enough, and picking up a win against one of your closest competitors here would feel really, really big. And it's definitely still possible, but I think that their map movement has been subpar now that they're on even footing with their opponent, and Fredit Brion have clearly shown that I don't think that their macro is necessarily better, but when they see an opening, 5-man commit, and that has immense power, especially with this Fredit Brion comp.
Oh yeah, it's precisely what you want to see. It's continuing to happen. A lot of bot side vision available here for Fredit Brion as we tick over the 23-minute mark. 3 minutes until that Cloud Soul is available for Fredit Brion, but it looks like DRX have different ideas. The Baron, of course, they do have a lot of secure. Is the arrow going to be avoided? That is a list lazily to the left maneuver for Taeun that is going to spell the perfect answer to the arrow.
Easy peasy. Didn't have to use anything. Cooldown, of course, on the arrow, suitably short, level 2 achieved, and we are looking at just one Drake for now, but will be more surely, knowing Fredit Brion, unless the game completely collapses under their reign, which right now, I mean, DRX is still in control of the map. And I already said I don't think Fredit Brion's macro is that great, and you can see it as well. I feel like Hoya's been in the side lane for the biggest part of this game, yet 2 outers are still up.
Yeah.
And careful lava.
Yeah, well, Q's going to miss there as lava is continuing to run pretty quickly on this Cloud Soul area of the map. Speeding everyone up. Jet flanking around, looking for an opportunity. And still on the bottom side. Charging up that Naba, has the teleport available as Umpty is going to be able to find Taeun here, and he's pulled the trigger once again. Flashes forward from almost everyone as Taeun needs more cleanses than this. As Piochik's going to get the kick onto Umpty, but he immediately goes golden. As now Fredit Brion getting into the backline lava with a massive base breaker is going to be able to take down the LeBlanc as Piochik is now desperate to get out of this, but he's not going to be able to, and it looks like Fredit Brion might be able to transfer to a pretty comfy Baron.
How's Umpty alive? He lives somehow.
He is the Lord of Engage this game, and it's beautiful to see.
Everything gets used on Taeun there, and I can't even fault him for it. Like, that is exactly the reason why we hold Diana in such high regard. You get engaged on from what feels like the other end of the map. Nothing to be done there for them, as one of their most fed carries immediately gets blown up. The rest of the team not really in a position to immediately retaliate. So he goes over the minions, then uses his second E, then uses the Moonfall, and then Taeun shield gets propped. Beautifully, like as well played as you possibly can, but it's just not enough. And
look at Henna.
Yeah.
Kites this one out.
And lava.
Absolutely beautiful.
Oh my god. It ties into what we've said previously about Fredit Brion, where their team fighting is just legitimately good. Their side laning, basically non-existent. Hoya is just standing near his own turrets, no matter the game state.
You're doing great, guys.
And this is why we love Fredit Brion. Now they pick up the Baron.
Yeah.
And this Cloud Soul is looking very tasty.
12 seconds until that one is available. DRX not wanting to give it up, as you can see. They've got an opportunity for a fight, but remember, this is a Cloud Drake. All of the ultimates now back available for Fredit Brion. On-demand vision comes out from Henna as Jet over to the side. Going to do a bit of damage to Umpty, but Umpty shrugs it off. This stage of the game, Hoya gets towards the back of this pit as Arrow is going to connect onto Kingin. It's not going to be the Cloud Soul, but can they actually win out on the fight? Umpty doesn't exactly find the value he's looking for with his Moonfall. Is just going to be dead first, but can they get the rest of the fight? Hoya gets rendered. Taeun now trying to run away. He's going the wrong direction. It looks like Fredit Brion do not want to chase. They're a bit split as Delight over the wall here does have a blast cone that he can head towards. So they do manage to deny the Cloud Soul. They only lose Jun for it.
Big win. you give up Jun, but you get Drake, and you don't die or lose the game. So it's a big win. Umti without Flash clearly has a little bit less threat on the back line. Very nicely tied it. As we can see, only it's Pioshik who can safeguard out immediately, so no value there. Because the Baron buff is still available and the team fighting comp is very beefy here from Fredit Brion, there's not actually that much to do. Oh, this is a juicy angle from Pioshik.
Yeah, Pioshik has demonstrated that he can find some cheeky, amazing kicks. As Umti's going to move over. We'll see whether the back is stopped. It's not. So Fredit Brion now wanting to continue utilizing this Baron in order to finally push out these side lanes. Lava will deal with the top lane outer, as we can see, while the rest of Fredit Brion just chill out in this mid lane and continue to put on the pressure.
Finally goes down. That's one. And yeah, I would like to see Fredit. He knows he should be fine. I say.
Well, he's gonna ghost. Try to get out of this one as turns out the Gwen's immune. Went inside the mist. Did you know that?
Wow.
Yeah.
New information. It's pretty cool. Are they trying to base race?
Is that the plan? I don't know whether that's a good plan.
No, it's not. They don't have Baron anymore, so it's not as bad as it could be. But it's still not good.
It's still going to go home. So, both teams giving up on the base race idea.
Very good. This is such a cool back animation from Nautilus there as well. It's very...
Yeah, like sets up a pretty picture there.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool.
Backdrop. So we're probably not going to have any action until the next break.
2.5 minutes until that one. Or Baron.
Maybe. But this is the point of the game where, especially with this build as Hoya, you need to be confident. And I think that's one of the big things that's missing for Hoya, unless he has a lead. Hoya plays very afraid. And this is understandable because he never gets any attention from the rest of his team. And if Fredit Brion just move into the bot side jungle here, set up vision there, right, throw down a couple of pings, then Hoya can actually play according to the pressure that he should have. Because, sure, he doesn't have his third item yet, but he's already should do considerable amounts of damage. And you're getting to the point in the game where Gwen can basically 1v1 everyone if you execute it well. But it doesn't feel like they believe that he can. That's an adorable ward. It's just so much. Getting distracted.
This ward goes down. Cute little books hanging out. And the Poro there in the mid lane is, of course, what you're referring to. A lot of cute ones here. It's decent vision for DRX, actually. Does mean that not going to worry too much, especially there on the top side, as we can see. 1 minute until the Baron. 1 minute 20 till the Drake, as Fredit Brion should be able to just collect this inner turret. Do manage to do so. I like flying those coffers a little bit more. It's only 1.5k gold lead though. Absolutely anyone's game. Stopwatch check, I think, is important at this point in time. We do have 3 on the side of Fredit Brion, and we have 0 for DRX. That's almost unbelievable. Someone call Valdez. There's a massive problem with the itemization of DRX right now. They're gonna have to go for a reset and collect as many timepieces as possible.
Well, at the clocks, in what might be a make-or-break team fight, if you give up the soul, Fredit Brion's comp is going to do even more. Fredit Brion, though, they can also just give this one up. We haven't discussed this possibility yet, but they can just shove in mid and just go Baron. And there's nothing that stops, because there is no soul. But it is Fredit Brion, so I think they will default for Drake.
Yeah. I want to see Ash's cooldown once she hits level 16 and has the double Cloud Drake. Oh, God. It's going to be pretty decent.
You can even trade here. I don't mind you giving up Baron if you get the soul for it. It's not the best soul, but soul is still generally 100% worth the trade.
Yep. Oftentimes, not sure about Cloud Soul necessarily, but DRX not going to go for any sort of trade, and Fredit Brion should be able to burst this one down. They do so, and now they're looking for a potential fight. Delight, not entirely sure where that Zenith Flame is going, but it's a good hook to come out from Jun. Double knock-up, as now Lava looking for his opportunity. Gets Kingen immediately out of the fight as he still has the phase breaker. Another great hook from Jun, but he might still die for it as Henna takes down Taeyun, and unfortunately it just seems like DRX don't have the damage to get anything done. Jet still has an opportunity. Some lower health bars here as Henna with his wits end actually pretty capable as Pyosik gets piled in on, gets the flash out, the safeguard's there, but he still gets chased down. Jet's still alive, Kingan's still alive, but so is everyone on Fredit Brion. And this is either Baron or breaking open the base if Fredit Brion want to.
And DRX, they're clinging onto this game as well as they can, but it's just not enough. That was an insane ultimate that came through from Lava. I hope we get a replay of that as this Baron is going to go down. There's no smite for Umti though. Maybe a Miracle Steam.
No, not this time around, as Lava is going to punch the piece of shellfish very, very aggressively, as we just saw. And that is Baron and the Soul available now for Fredit Brion as we check this one out yet again. As, yeah, Kingan thought he had the Mega Gnar window. Actually, Lava said
It's just, he gets him.
So good.
Actually crazy. June going in there aggressively in attempt to get something done together with Jet. Jet also finding a nice angle at the start of that fight, but it's just not enough. We've now reached the point where the Fredit Brion composition, like, the team fighting is so strong. You have a great front line, you have multiple carries, you have a set that can set it all up. Whereas as DRX, if you haven't expanded your lead to the point where Pyosik and Jet can just 100-0 someone, you see the range issues that come into play with this composition. And their one big win condition, Kingan, does his very best.
Well, they're going to try and dive onto Lava here. He's very tanky with his Deadman's Plate. He just decides he wants to turn this one around. Haymaker's still available, as now just happy to tank up as much damage as you want. Taeyeon's now in trouble again, and he's going to get obliterated, and Fredit Brion may just win the game off the back of this play.
They can't get anyone, and it is Fredit Brion that is gonna win it in the end here. A valiant effort from DRX, who keep looking better every single day, but as Umti flashes the generic Green Wings logo, clearly Fredit Brion's superior team here today.
Yeah, they're just looking much better. I think the Nocturne ban was a stroke of genius for Fredit Brion here in game number 3. They grabbed themselves all of the dragons that they wanted, and they'll kill just the right amount of Nexuses to take down this series.
Again, it's off the back of Umti.